Hello, sound check. Hello?
Good morning, Councilor Carroll.
Oh, there you are.
Thank you.
Good morning. I'm just, I'm having trouble installing WebEx and that on new appliances. So oh no, it does say Shelley Carroll now. I'm using my chief of
Good morning,
staff's
everybody.
laptop,
We're
and
ready
it's
to start.
repersonalized.
Councilors, please
Okay,
take your
I'm with ya.
seats.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Councilor James Pasternak. I'm the chair of North York Community Council. We have quorum. I'm calling meeting 17 to order. Welcome, everybody. Although we were meeting in different locations today, North York Community Council would like to acknowledge that the land we are meeting on is the traditional territory of many nations, including the Mississauga, the Credit, the Anishinaabe, the Chippewa, the Haudenosaunee, and Wendat peoples. It's now home to many diverse First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people. We also acknowledge that Toronto is covered by Treaty 13 with the Mississauga, the Credit. Today's meeting is being held by video conference and is being live streamed online at youtube.com/Toronto City Council Live. If you're registered to speak at today's meeting, please listen for me to call your name. Call speakers in order that they appear on the list. The list of speakers can be viewed online by visiting the North York Community Council page at toronto.ca/council and clicking the speakers box for today's meeting. Members, the city clerk has provided all agenda materials at toronto.ca/council and on CMP, the clerk's meeting portal. Clerk's IT staff are available to members if they need help with their devices. Are there any declarations of interest under the Municipal Conflict of Interest Act? If you do have an interest, please raise your hand or unmute your mic and indicate the number and nature of the interest. So we have 2 members participating remotely, and we have 3 in person. I don't see any hands going up. May I have a motion to confirm the minutes from our meeting of July the 9th, 2024, and August the 20th, 2024? Councillor Cheng, all those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Okay, so we'll do a run-through on the agenda. Councillors, if you have any motions, I hope the clerk has them so we can move them right away. Our plan today is to work through the agenda till noon, and then we're going to take a 2-hour recess and reconvene at 2 o'clock to finish the agenda. I know that deviates from normal procedures. I do have a motion that we have to put on the screen to confirm that. There we go. North York Community Council recess. It's meeting at 12 p.m. and resume at 2 p.m. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Okay, let's do a run-through of the agenda. 17.1, Lawrence Avenue West and Rosewell Avenue, turn Prohibition. Councillor Cole.
Yeah, I'd just like to defer indefinitely.
The councillor has moved deferral indefinitely. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. 17.2, speed humps and digital speed indicator on Glengrove Avenue. Councillor Cole.
I'd like to defer indefinitely.
Motion to defer indefinitely. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Item 17.4, 10 Elmwood. I've run into trouble already. 17.3, 79 Yorkville Drive, application for fence exemption. Councillor Cheng? I don't have speakers on the item, so you can either hold the item down or move a recommendation.
I would like to move approval of the fence exemption.
Okay, Councillor Cheng is moving approval for fence exemption at 79 Yorkview Drive. All those...
The neighbors have provided letters of support
I-
for this.
Sorry. I was gonna ask whether we were using the wording provided for approving it, but it's there. That's the staff
Right,
wording.
there is a motion on the screen.
Yes.
Okay, we're granting the application. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Item 17.4, 10 Elmwood Avenue, official plan amendment and zoning application, amendment applications. Decision report approval. No deputations on the item. Counselor Cheng?
I have a motion to defer.
Okay, motion to defer on the item. All those in, there we go.
So
Okay.
Deferring
Uh,
to October 29.
Okay, deferred to October 29th, 2024, North York Community Council. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. 17.5, 500 Duplex Avenue, rental housing demolition application. Decision report. Counselor Cole?
I'd like to move staff recommendation.
Okay, staff recommendations moved. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Item 6, 589, 599 Lawrence Avenue West, zoning amendment and rental housing demolition applications. Decision report, Councillor Cole? Yes, we do have speakers on the item, and it is a timed item, so we will hold that item down. 17.7, 3309, 3317 Dufferin Street, official plan amendment and zoning amendment applications, decision report. Councillor Cole.
I'd like to move,
Oh, you know what? We do have one speaker, the applicant.
Yes, speaker.
who wants to speak? Who was that?
Haley McMillan. McWilliam.
Is that the applicant?
It is the
For
applicant.
both fields.
Why do you want to speak? I don't know.
Yeah.
And Councillor Cole, if you want to take that offline, and we can deal with the item if this person does not want to speak. It is a timed item, and we're past 9:30, so we could move it.
I'd like to move approval.
We do have a speaker on the item, Councillor Cole. So we're going to hold the item down. Item 17.8, 187 Bredonhill Court, part lot control exemption application, decision report. Councillor Cole?
I'll move approval.
Staff recommendations moved. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Item 17.9, 2619, 2621 Bayview Avenue. There is a speaker on that, so we'll hold for speakers. It is.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
On a point of order, that is another one where I believe the speaker is the applicant. So I wonder if the counselor wants to note their intention, and if the intention is to approve, perhaps the speaker will withdraw.
So there is no local counselor for this item, but I will be moving staff recommendations on behalf of the ward. But you are correct. If these applicants.
So can we canvass the speaker to ask if they still need to speak?
Yeah. So thank you. So let's ask whether Chris Pereira of Bahar Planning really wants to speak. It's the applicant. Okay.
Right. That's my point.
Okay. Thank you, Councillor Carroll. 17.10, 389, 391, 393 Broadway Avenue. Yes, we have a number of speakers on that. 1711. Speaker was withdrawn. Yeah, so there was a speaker. The
So,
speaker
What's
has
the speaker
withdrawn.
withdrawn on item 9? Can we take the vote then?
Yeah, so 1711 is 7 St. Denis or St. Denis Drive and 10 Grenoble Drive. Councillor Burnside? The speaker has withdrawn.
Staff recommendations.
Okay, the
I know,
councillors.
move staff recommendations.
Okay. Staff recommendations moved on 1711. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. 1712, 11 Homewood Avenue. I don't have any speakers on the item. It's a residential demolition application. Councillor Cheng, there are 3 options before us.
I'd like to move approval with conditions.
That would be option 3.
Yes.
Okay, option 3 before us. There we go. It is on the screen. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. 1713, 1073 Millwood Road, designation of fire routes, amendment to Chapter 880 fire routes. This is Ward 15. I will move the staff recommendations. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Item 14, 101 Senlac, designation of fire routes, amendment to Chapter 880. Councillor Cheng.
I'd like to move staff recommendations, please.
Staff recommendations moved. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Item 15, 15 Holmes Avenue, designation of fire routes. Councillor Cheng.
I'd like to move staff recommendations.
Staff recommendations moved. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Item 16, Anthony Road traffic calming, speed humps. That is York Center. I will move staff recommendations. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Item 17, naming of a pathway from Westgate to Earl Bales. We're naming it Gerald Spring Way. And I'm going to adopt the staff recommendations. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Item 18, Whitmore Avenue, traffic calming, speed humps.
I'll move staff recommendations.
Staff recommendations moved by Councillor Cole. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Item 19, Livingstone Avenue, traffic calming, speed humps. Councillor Cole.
I'll move staff recommendations.
Staff recommendations moved. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Item 20, Bedford Park Avenue, parking amendments. Councillor Cole.
I'll move staff recommendations.
Staff recommendations moved on Bedford Park Avenue. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Item 21, Vaughan Street and Wicksteed Avenue, traffic control signals. I will move the staff recommendations on behalf of the constituents of Ward 15. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Item 22, St. Denis Drive and Linkwood Lane traffic control signals.
I'll move
Councillor
staff
Burnside.
recommendations.
Staff recommendations moved by Councillor Burnside. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Item 23, Leslie Street and Wilkett Creek Trail, pedestrian refuge island. Councillor Burnside?
I'm asking to defer to, yes, asking to defer to the next meeting, please.
Okay, Councillor Burnside is moving deferral to the October 29th, 2024 meeting. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Item 24, Linkwood Lane parking amendments. Councillor Burnside?
Moving staff recommendations, please.
Staff recommendations moved on Linkwood Lane. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Item number 25, Denrock Drive parking amendments. There are two deputants, Councillor Carroll, on this item, so we're going to hold it for speakers.
Okay.
Item 26, 2638 Hounslow Avenue. Exclusion of development from permit parking program. Councillor Cheng.
Like to move staff recommendation.
Staff recommendations moved. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. 1727, 461 Shepherd Avenue East, exclusion of development from permit parking program. Councillor Cheng.
Like to move staff recommendation.
Staff recommendations moved. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Item number 28, 124 Sandringham Drive, application to remove a tree in a ravine-protected area. I just hold the item down for a minute. Item 29, 85 Helendale Avenue, application to remove a private tree. We do have a speaker on the item. Item 30, 19 Ian Hall Road, request for a fence exemption. There is a speaker on the item. So we'll hold the item. Item 31, 123 Sheldrake Boulevard, fence exemption. I'll have to hold the item down. There's no speakers on it, but it is open for debate. 32.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
on that item, item 31, I have to, as you know, I have to step out at 10 o'clock to go to a media thing, but I would like to be present for that item if possible. If community council should finish the agenda before I get back, I'll understand. But if possible, I'd like to hold that item until I get back because I do have a question for staff. If it's not possible, I'll understand.
Yeah, I don't think we'll get to it. You're leaving at 10 for.
Yeah, I have to join the mayor for a technical briefing on the vacant home tax.
Yes, no, very important, very
for a
important
minute, and then I'll be back.
stuff there. Stepping out, how do you define
Yeah.
stepping out? An hour or?
Yeah.
An hour, okay. All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
We have no direction on this item, Councillor Carroll, so it's open to debate and a vote. We have no direction from the local team, other than a staff report. If you know.
Yes, the direction we have from staff is refusal, and I'd like to ask some questions about that.
Okay, fair enough. Item 32, 230 Torresdale, request for fence exemption. I'll hold the item. And 33, appointment of a public member to Leaside Memorial Community Gardens Arena Board. I'm going to move the staff recommendation and the confidential attachment. Oh, Councillor Carroll, you'd like to hold the item? Yes?
No, I'm just getting ready to vote. I'm assuming that.
Yeah, so I'm going to move the
moving the
recommended person for appointment.
Yeah.
Okay. All those in favor?
good.
Opposed? That is carried. 34, speed limits, the Don Way between Don Mills Road, south intersection, and Don Mills Road, north intersection. Councillor Burnside?
A motion to put on the screen. Essentially, As many of you are aware, the Don Way is basically a ring road with 2 schools, long shops, a Don Mills, you name it. Right now, it changed between 50 and 40 kilometers per hour. This is just to ensure that the whole Don Way is 40 kilometers per hour.
Bravo.
I'm sorry, Councillor Burnside, I was distracted for a second. What would you like to do with this item?
Well, I have a recommendation.
Okay, there's a motion
Should
to
be
go on
on
the
the screen.
screen? Okay.
Yep. You missed my speech?
Yeah, no, I know it was probably very
It was
moving, but I
brilliant.
did
It was a
I did
brilliant
miss it.
speech.
Yes, no, I know it was presidential in nature. Okay, so you're moving the recommendations before us? Okay, fair enough. The recommendations are on the report before us. They're a letter from the local councillor. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Item number 35, Latimer Avenue between Crestwood Road, Roselawn Avenue, reopening and rescinding the decision on North York 11.14, introduction of overnight on-street permit parking.
Yeah, as a letter I've sent to committee September 9th, just asking for it to be reopened and rescinded.
Okay, so we'll do 2 votes. One is to reopen the item. All those in favor? Opposed? And the recommendations before us is to rescind a previous decision. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Item number 36, Wilson Heights Boulevard and Joel Swirsky Boulevard, traffic control signals. I'm going to defer this to the next North York Community Council meeting, October 29th. Motion to defer on this one. Okay. All those in favor of deferral? Opposed? That is carried. Okay, these are so-called walk-on motions, so we need 2 votes if we're going to deal with them right away. The first vote is to add them to the agenda, and then the second vote would be on the item itself. Item 37, Brook Avenue Parking Amendment. All those in favor of adding it to the agenda? Opposed? That is carried. On the item itself?
Move staff recommendation.
Councillor Cole is moving staff recommendations. All those in favor?
Mr. Chair, I hate to be difficult, but it's not coming up on the agenda. The content of the motion is not coming up on the agenda for those of us at home. So I'm voting on something I cannot see. It's neither on the screen in front of me, nor is it on Timis at this point.
If we posted it on the screen, would that help?
Wonderful. Yes, that would be great.
Yeah, we're going to display it.
That'd be great.
Oh, there we go. Okay. Is it visible?
Got it. Yes. Thank you very much.
Do you want to hold the item, or are we ready to vote?
Nope. I'm happy to vote. Thank you.
Okay. So Councillor Cole has moved staff recommendations. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Item 38, Edith Drive parking amendments. Motion to add it to the agenda. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. On the item itself, Councillor Cole, you're moving staff recommendations?
Yes, moving staff recommendation.
Councillor Cole is moving staff recommendations. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Item number 39. Bryan Drive, traffic calming speed humps. motion to add it, I'll move it to add it to the agenda. All those in favor? Opposed? And on the item itself, Councillor Carroll?
Well, these ones are not being displayed, but as they're coming from my ward, I know their contents. I don't know if members want to see them. But
Yes, no, it's
similar
a,
to the motions in other
yes, no, it's a
councillors'
very
wards,
exciting motion of adding
work has
speed
been
bumps.
done with staff. Yeah.
Yes, no, this is very transformational. All those in favor?
Yes.
Opposed? That is carried. Item 40, Kings Lake Road traffic calming speed humps. All those in favor of adding it to the agenda? Opposed? That is carried. Councillor Carroll, you want to move the
Yes.
staff
Again, the
recommendation?
work has been done with staff, even though the motion is not displayed.
All right, so Councillor Carroll is moving staff recommendations regarding Kings Lake Road. And that is item 40. Okay, so we've done our first run-through of the agenda. And now we'll go back to held or timed items. Okay, we're on item 6, 589, 599 Lawrence Avenue West, zoning amendment and rental housing demolition applications. We have speakers on the item. We usually put the applicant first, Daniel Rende. Right? Thank you for joining us. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you, and then you have to speak. Yeah, speak. Good morning, members of council, staff. My name is Mark Mandelbaum. I'm listed to speak, but I was nominated to kick off. I'm here with Daniel Rend, who is our planning consultant, as well as Philip Levine, who is our project manager on the planning side, and they could answer any questions that you have. I'd like to thank members of council and staff for all the work bringing this application forward to today's committee meeting. I'd also like to thank members of the community and Rabbi Bolek particularly, who's the dean of the seminary, who's here with us, and for all those people who wrote letters in support. This is a very, very important application to the Jewish community in the Bathurst Lawrence area. The Kollel, which is a Talmudic seminary, is one of the leading seminaries, not just here in Toronto, but in Canada and likely across the world. Also, what it does is it is a postgraduate facility of Talmudical studies for basically students who are married with several kids. And in order to facilitate their continued existence, we put forward an application which includes a seminary building and rental housings, which are particularly suited to larger families. They're typically about 1,400 square feet. It's a facility that's entirely funded by the community and very much supported by the community and very vital to the for the continued existence of the community. We are very pleased with the staff recommendations, and we are very supportive. And again, thank everybody for your support. If there are any other questions, I believe Daniel did provide a presentation for council's for the council members' edification, if that helps. And he's here to answer questions, as well as Philip Levine. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark. Are we combining the two? I have, Mark, have both you and Daniel here listed. Do you want to do separate, or you're just, Daniel, you're just available for questions?
I am here through the chair, I am here to make the brief presentation, which I provided as a communication item. If community council wishes, if not, we're happy to proceed to questions.
What is the will of the local councillor? A presentation is welcome, but may not be necessary. It's entirely up to you. You have 5 minutes if you want to go ahead.
Okay. Yes, please. Can we bring the presentation up on the screen? well, no, I emailed it to clerks. Okay. Okay. Oh, okay. So then, okay.
Okay, so councilors do have a copy of the presentation if you'd like to just speak for a minute or two about the proposal, if you wish.
Yeah, I would like to speak to it briefly. You have a copy of the presentation with you. It's a very brief presentation, about 8 slides. The subject site is located on Lawrence Avenue, a major street within the city, within walking distance to Lawrence West Subway Station. So it's within a protected major transit station area. These are areas where the province seeks growth, areas to intensify within a transit-supported manner. The subject site is also located within a site and area-specific policy, which envisions modest intensification along certain lots along Lawrence Avenue West. And it includes development standards such as a 9-meter setback, a 45-degree angular plane measured from the rear of the lot, and a maximum height of 4 stories to provide a transition to the neighboring neighborhood areas to the south of Lawrence Avenue West. With this, the proposal is permitted and modest intensification along Lawrence Avenue West. It's to create an institutional campus with a 3-story kollel building, which is a place of advanced Talmudic learning, and a 4-story apartment building featuring 16 affordable housing units. In our opinion, the proposal is modest and conforms with the official plan and meets the intent of the provincial policy statement, conforms with the growth plan as well, and would be a supportive addition to the community. Additionally, it's an important it's an important piece to the local Jewish community. It will be a place of learning for the kollel members as well as their families, and it will provide them affordable housing, which, as we know, in the city of Toronto is difficult to find, and in this vein, particularly difficult because of the additional needs of the Jewish community and the kollel members. Specifically, the affordable apartment building will have 15 3-bedroom units to accommodate those larger families with one bedroom unit. This is something that's hard to find within the city of Toronto, and that's why the whole project has been designed as a campus with the kollel building and then right next door the affordable apartment building. And finally, we would like to thank council as well as staff. We have reviewed the staff report. We agree with those recommendations. Specifically, we would like to thank Marty as well as Denise on city staff who were very, very helpful throughout this whole process. And again, I'm here for any questions.
Great, thank you very much for your remarks. Any questions of the deputant? No? Okay, thank you very much. Philip Levine?
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of council. Excuse me. My name is Philip Levine, and I'm the project manager for the application that's before you. I'm not going to repeat what Daniel has summarized. I would only add one thing. The existing situation involved 6 existing rental units, and I want to confirm that all 6 units will be replaced within the new apartment building that's contemplated. So I just want to make that note. I'm available for any other questions. I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Okay, all right, thank you very much. Are there any questions for the deputant? I don't see any. Thank you very much, Mr. Levine. Kelly Brazil? Ms. Brazil? Is this an online deputant? Okay, we'll go to the next speaker.
I'm here.
Oh, Kelly?
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay, thank you very much. You have 5 minutes.
Thank you. Thank you, City Council, for giving me a few minutes to speak. I'm a local resident. I live at 88 Fairholme Avenue. I have so for 20 years now. I'm also here speaking on behalf of a few of the other residents, namely 90, 91, and 92 Fairholme Avenue. I don't think it's any surprise to anybody that spends any time in this community. First, I want to make it clear, I'm not here to oppose the development in any way. I understand the developers have done a great job putting this together and making sure that it conforms to the zoning. But I do want to clarify that I think the city has an obligation to address the traffic issues in our neighborhood. A lot of it that I feel is going to be exacerbated by the additional parking that's going to be required for an assembly type use as this institution is. If you're familiar with the neighborhood, if you're familiar with these types of schools and these institutions, anywhere in the neighborhood that you can see that is an intensified amount of parking requirements required. I provided several pictures for city councils to review of traffic in our neighborhood. If you spend a day in our neighborhood, you can see that there's a tremendous amount of traffic creating very unsafe environments for both drivers and pedestrians. We have 3 schools in the immediate area. My children have been subject to situations where they've almost been hit by vehicles. If you have a look at the pictures, and I don't know if you're able to bring them up on the screen, but you can see lineups as far as from Englemount almost beyond Dale Mount, going east to west. You can see traffic building up from Lawrence all the way down to Glengrove and further south. These situations, even around the four-way stops and all of the intersections in the area, you've got a lot of drivers trying to access the Allen, trying to avoid Lawrence Avenue, trying to avoid speed cameras, and flying through our neighborhood streets when there's no traffic. When there is traffic, there's a tremendous amount of driver frustration, and you've got a lot of vehicles that it's not uncommon to see vehicles pull out into oncoming traffic to make a left-hand turn or to make a turn going in the opposite direction of the traffic buildup. So I'm here to propose that the city implement a no parking on Fairholme Avenue between Englemount and Glenmount, as well as along Englemount from Lawrence as far south as Glengrove, as far as I'm concerned, to ensure that our children walking these streets have safety, at the forefront. It's not uncommon to take 10 minutes for me to go from my house at 88 to my in-laws' house at 122. Often my wife needs somebody to come out and do traffic control so she can pull out of the street. If you have a look at the pictures aren't a rare occasion, they're a daily occasion and a daily situation. I think that the added parking that this development will require is going to increase the traffic concerns. It's going to create significantly unsafe situations for our kids and for our neighborhood. And I think the city has an obligation to ensure that our city streets are safe. As far as I can tell from the development, I believe there's a gross floor area of the building of approximately just under 1,900 square meters. City parking, from what I can see, requires 1 parking stall per 100 square meters of the development. This building has 12 parking stalls, so it's already short on the required amount of parking spaces that it needs, which, again, is only going to lead to more street parking and further unsafe situations for our neighborhood. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you for your comments. Any questions for the deputant? No? Okay. Thank you for your comments, and I'm sure the local councillor will take those suggestions of parking restrictions under advisement. I'm looking for Mike Diplock. He is online. Mr. Diplock?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Thank you for joining us. You have 5 minutes.
Okay, great. Thanks. I'm a homeowner at 96 Fairholme Avenue, directly behind 599 Lawrence. I'm not here to represent any of the other homeowners on the street. I'm generally supportive of this proposal. I'd like to see the demolition and construction happen as quickly as possible. I would echo Kelly's comments on traffic. I think we need to take that on as a separate issue. the intersection of Angelmount and Lawrence is problematic during rush hour. It's an awkward and dangerous intersection, and I think we should consider a no left turn during rush hour there, but I think that's a separate topic for later. I did want to touch on a couple of topics relative to the development. There is a tree preservation plan. To summarize, I think there's 19 large trees in total. The development requires, I think, 14 of them to be removed. I think that drives out a requirement to, in theory, plant 30 large growing shade trees according to the documentation. So I'd just like to encourage staff and council and the developer to make sure that the 19 trees that are in plan to be planted are of the right type and are or will be at some point 30 large growing shade trees. Okay. I'll just pause there and see if there's any questions.
Questions will be at the end of the deputation, but I'm sure the local councillor will take that under advisement.
Great. Thanks, Mike. Relative to the demolition itself, I have a specific request. These homes have been abandoned for quite a period of time, and I think they've kind of turned into an animal preserve in the meantime. So I would ask, council and the developer to consider a pre-demolition extermination or animal relocation effort to make sure that these animals don't just suddenly migrate into our backyards. I'm not actually requesting that you find, people to adopt the raccoons, but if somebody could take that under advisement to see what might be done there. I would also advise, given the traffic concerns, that, we don't experience any lane closures either on Angelmount or Lawrence. I don't see any in plan right now, but any little tweak to the traffic environment just exacerbates the current situation. I would also, request from the owner developer if we could get a single point of contact that we could contact during the demolition and development, so that we could raise any issues or concerns before we take them back to the city or to city council. Stormwater runoff. I understand there's a stormwater runoff, recommendation. I guess I still have some concerns. I think some of the other homeowners do. I'm wondering whether that report is publicly available or whether it could be made publicly available. Given that you were going to be paving over a lot of these 6 lots and putting high density buildings in there. This rain that was previously kind of absorbed by the natural environment is going to obviously have to go somewhere else. So I appreciate if we could get access to the stormwater report. I think staff has obviously looked at the issue and feels that it's containable, but I would appreciate if we could get access to this. I guess my last comment would be around the fence between the properties. I would encourage the owner developer to erect as high a privacy fence as is permitted by the bylaw, and to use, whatever high quality construction material is available to make sure that that's a long lasting fence that will make good neighbors. That concludes my presentation. Thanks for your time today.
All right. Well, thank you, Mike. Any questions for the deputant? No? Well, thank you for your comments, Mike, and I'm sure the local councillor and the property owner will take them under advisement. Sam Strasser? Thank you for joining us. You have 5 minutes.
Good morning, council, staff. Thank you so much for reviewing our application. I felt it was important to represent the community itself. Many members have joined us today, including the esteemed Dean of the community. We'd just like to offer our gratitude and appreciation to the city and to the council for viewing this project, and we are very, very excited about the possibilities. As a longstanding member of the institution myself, I can personally attest to its vital role in the Jewish community and in the city of Toronto. And I think everything that needs to be said has been said. And again, if there's any questions, then I'm here. I am not personally paid to be involved in the project. I'm just a layman who believes in the project, believes in the vision, and especially the rental project, the rental units. I think that is extremely accretive to the entire community, and we're looking forward to getting that to fruition. I wanted to address some of the points that Mike just made very quickly. From litter and wildlife tend to take place when units lay vacant for too long. That's been a problem here. We very much agree. We would like to get these demolished as soon as possible and move forward. So again, I'd like to offer my gratitude. And as a resident myself who lives 3 blocks from the development, we are looking forward to watching this come to light. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you for your comments. Any questions for the deputant? No? Okay, thank you very much. That concludes deputations. Questions for staff? Okay. Speakers? Councillor Cole?
I think I have a technical amendment motion that I haven't seen yet. But I've been promised for 6 months. Can I see that, please?
Just 1 second, Councillor Cole. All right, I think we're good to go with your motion.
Okay.
Okay. Councillor Cole, there's your motions on the screen.
Yeah, so you can see they're addressing some of the stormwater runoff issues raised by the deputants and other arrangements in terms of dealing with municipal infrastructure. It's just, again, ensuring the critical infrastructure compatibility and also the affordable housing component to continue. So that's the many technical amendments that are part of this, and I'd like to include that as part of the recommendation to staff. Okay. Yes, and I'd just like to make some general comments. I want to first of all thank the members of the community who made some very sensible recommendations. For those of you who don't know, this development site sits at the mouth of the unfinished Spadina-Allen Expressway, where we host over 100,000 drivers a day that come into our community. And it has never been easy to deal with that challenge of trying to manage 100,000 cars that come in and out of our community every single day. And it really compounds a lot of the existing traffic problems. And so we always will continue to try and manage some of those with some proper immediate maybe ameliorations. But again, it's never going to be solvable in a macro way. Because of the 100,000 friendly cars that come into our community every day. The other thing is, it's unfortunate that the traffic issue has been brought forward but it is a real concern. Like for instance, right now they are rebuilding the bridge over the Allen at Lawrence, and there's a major disruption of traffic. And I had asked, 5, 6 years ago, I said, why don't you include a plan to get more lane access, especially northbound on the Allen, because you've got 2 dormant lanes on the south side of the bridge. Nobody uses them. At Lawrence and the Allen, the southbound lane going south off of Lawrence, or the northbound lane coming up, they're just ridiculous. They sit there wasting space. They could have been used to basically relieve some of the traffic on Lawrence in that area. But again, it seems that one hand doesn't know what the other hand is doing. So we're refurbishing the bridge, yet we're doing nothing about those redundant lanes that have been sitting there for 30 years with nobody using them. And they could have been helped to relieve the traffic problem, but that's another issue. But anyways, I want to say that there was good recommendations from the local residents. We'll try and follow up on those. And also, I want to thank the community for providing this affordable housing in this area. And these are, Councillor Cheng and I were talking, this is incredible. 3-bedroom units. Huh. We never see this. She wishes she had some 3-bedroom affordable units in her ward. There's none. So this is an incredible departure from the norm. So we've got nonprofit affordable housing going in here. And we've got an iconic post-secondary institution being built in the heart of the Jewish community of Toronto at Lawrence and Bathurst. And it's in a very attractive kollel, which is a seminary, the beautiful building, the rendering. And so it is really, and it's a nonprofit group that's raising the money to do this. The only problem we have is that our planning processes for providing affordable housing are so convoluted, so complex, so costly, that this is not even an official plan amendment. This is as of right 4 stories on a main street, Lawrence Avenue, as of right. And it's taken 2.5 years to get to this point. We've got to do something to streamline this ability to build 4-story affordable units on main streets like Lawrence within a 10-minute walk of the Eglinton West subway. But anyways, I want to thank the people in the community who are contributing to the building of this. I want to thank the tenacity of those who are leading the way. And it's a much welcome addition to our community. It's a much welcome addition to the neighborhood. And I wish I could get more 4-story buildings. Oy vey, 4 stories. All I see is 40 stories. So to see 40 stories, I say, thank God we got 4 stories. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cole. Councillor Cheng.
Just briefly, I want to say thank you to everyone who's championed this. I have affordable housing envy. And really just a project that is at a human scale. I agree that we're getting 40, 50, 55-story buildings where so many developers say the calculus for 3-bedroom affordable housing doesn't work with their math. So I would love to see how this works out in terms of the numbers, because I think this is a model that needs to be replicated across our city. If we could have a package that is shared where the approval could happen swiftly because it's a very human scale and something missing in our city, I think it would be a way to multiply this type of housing, especially on main arteries that can really help with the very much needed missing part of our communities. We need more affordable housing. So thank you to everyone who has made this possible.
Thank you, Councillor Cheng. Anyone else to speak? I would just like to wrap up on the item. So very briefly, I just wanted to thank the local councillor and his staff for all the hard work that they have done on this file. Councillor Cole kept me up to date on the difficulty of moving such a small application through. Maybe people were shocked at how small it was and how creative it was. I wanted to thank the property owners and the investors who have committed themselves to this wonderful institution that is a great combination of learning, of residential, and of course, right in the heart and soul of the Jewish community. Continuity and learning are crucial. Regarding the Spadina Expressway, Councillor Cole, full disclosure, my parents vigorously fought against it, so I will apologize on their behalf the fact that it terminates in your ward. So I wish the applicant all the best. I think this is going to be a wonderful institution. I hope I'm on your guest list for the ribbon cutting, and of course there'll be fine tuning along the way. I'm going to fully support this staff recommendation and the amendment that goes with it. I wish Councillor Cole and of course the Colo all the best. And Shana Tova, Happy New Year. I think this will be a wonderful institution and a great asset to the community. Okay, we have some voting to do. So I believe we're going to be voting on Councillor Cole's motion first, which is an amendment to the staff report. It is on the screen. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. And on the item as amended, all those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Congratulations, and thank you very much. Item 17.7, 3309 and 3317 Dufferin Street. We do have one speaker on the item. That's why it was held. It is the applicant. Haley McWilliam? Online?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of council. Good morning. My name is Haley McWilliam, and I'm a senior planner at Bousfields Inc. I'll keep my remarks really brief, but I did want to extend my thanks to city staff and particularly Valeria Maurizio for all of their assistance with this application, extending back to when it was originally submitted in 2022. Since then, we've worked very closely with staff to deal with important considerations such as access and transition to adjacent properties to arrive at the current concept. The proposal will result in a transit-supportive development that will contribute additional housing options to the neighborhood and will revitalize Dufferin Street in keeping with the vision of the Dufferin Street secondary plan. We really appreciate all of staff's time and the efforts that were involved in getting the application to this stage. I have reviewed the positive staff report, and I'm pleased that staff is recommending approval of this application. I'm happy to answer any questions related to the application if there are any. Thank you.
Great, thank you, Haley. Any questions for the deputant? No? We're missing our local councillor on the item. I don't have any other speakers on the item, but we really should have the local councillor move the staff recommendations and be given the opportunity to speak. Councillor Cole, you're needed in the chamber. Councillor Cole, your item is up. Councillor Cole, we have just heard the one deputant on item 17.7, 3309 and 3317 Dufferin Street. There's a decision report before us. Any questions for staff, or how would you like to handle the item?
I just want to move staff recommendation.
Staff recommendations moved on 17.7. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Item 17.9. We have one speaker, Chris Pereira of Embarhar Planning and Design. Chris Pereira.
Can you hear me?
He's online. Okay, Chris, thanks for joining us. You have 5 minutes.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Perfect. Good morning, Mr. Chair, members of council. My name is Chris Pereira. I'm the principal of Bahar Planning and Design Limited. We are the planning and urban design consultants for the owner. The applicant for council here today is the culmination of nearly 2 years of a coordinated effort with staff to arrive at the final form in front of council today. The purpose of this application is to amend the zoning bylaw to permit 4 3-story townhouses, 4 new 3-story townhouses. Also, the purpose of the application is to amend the site-specific zoning for the existing 6-unit townhouse development immediately to the south, which has now been consolidated by the new owner. So the application is actually rezoning the existing 6 and adding 4 for a total of 10 3-story townhouse units, and the existing 2-story single detached home that was approved as part of the original development continues to be included. So in total, there's a total of 10 3-story townhouse units and 1 2-story detached home in the back. Vehicular access will be provided from Heathcote Avenue. These townhouse blocks are proposed to be arranged along Bayview, being accessed by a planned condo, which now all condo townhouse units will be administered under one plan of condo. I believe that this proposed development is consistent with the provincial policy statement. It conforms to the growth plan, and it represents appropriate infill that expands housing choices along a major street. Proposal provides for appropriate townhouse infill development along major streets and is compatible with the surrounding neighborhood. The proposal conforms with the city's official plan and also meets the intent of the Bayview townhouse design guidelines. We have reviewed the staff report, Mr. Chair, and we are in agreement with the conclusions and recommendations provided. We are prepared to proceed on that basis. Should council, anyone have any questions, I am available to answer them. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Chris. Any questions for the deputant? No? Okay. I'm going to move staff recommendations on behalf of the local community. Yes. Okay, but before I do that, questions for staff? Speakers other than me? Okay. I received a direction report from the former councillor's team, and I'm going to be moving staff recommendations on item number 9, 2619, 2621 Bayview Avenue. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. 1710, we have speakers on the item. That is 389, 391, 393 Broadway Avenue. Rongman Lee?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, great. Thank you very much for joining us. You have 5 minutes.
Okay. Good morning. It's my first time here, and first I want to say thank you so much for the city councilor for giving me this opportunity to speak in this meeting. So as a new, as a new homeowner in this area, I strongly oppose or disagree this proposal to extend the park and 393, 391, and 389 Broadway. So the intersection will be Bayview and Broadway. So for the following reasons, the first, increase the traffic. The proposed park will locate a very busy intersection right now. I travel through this area every morning, and the traffic is already congested. The car frankly line up from the traffic line right beside 393 or gas station Broadway to 389 Broadway, often extend further. The morning traffic is terrible. I even have a hard time to get out from my driveway. So add a park in this location will make the situation getting worse and negatively impact our neighborhood. The second reason, the children's safety. The park should be located in a safe space for family to enjoy. As a mother of 2, I would hesitate to bring my children to this future park surrounded by heavy traffic, noisy, and poor air quality. My children, aged 12 and 14, have also questioned whether the city conduct any study on this intersection. They will also request me to express their concern at this meeting. So the park should locate on a quiet street so the children can enjoy and play, and the parents without consistent worry. The next reason is because impact the homeowner, just like me. I'm the homeowner of 389 Broadway, so direct impact our. So we just purchased my home less than a year, last December. And then we did all the renovation, everything. So it's just finally settled down. When we purchased this home, after extensive searching and planning for our family future, this proposal caused significant stress and disappointment for our family. So, for us, we want to live in this neighborhood for a long time. We are committed to this neighborhood long term and do not plan to sell our home. I know it's good to add a park for the neighborhood, for the community, but due to the following reason, the traffic jam, the safety for the kids' safety in the future park, and also we just moved to this location. We are not planning to sell this home. So for those reasons, I will strongly disagree with the proposal to build a park and this location. It's simply not suitable for our community and also not for our family. So thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you. Anyone have questions for the deputy? I have a quick one.
Sure.
Are you, do you live at 389?
Yeah, 389 Broadway.
So your home is included in this?
Yes, that's right. It's a
Motion
direct impact, yeah.
To become mixed use or to become part of a park?
It's become a park. I think right now 391, the builder already purchased. So that one is like already is a park line, but they want to extend my neighbor. So the 391 is in middle. I'm right side of that. I'm a 389. And also they want to extend 393. So they say the 391 is not, the line is not long enough or it's not big enough for the park line. But we just moved to that neighborhood like for a couple months, and we were so surprised and disappointed when we received this proposal. It's my second time joining the meeting, so I'm very shocked, to be honest.
And has the developer reached out to you to make an offer to buy your house?
You know what? That was very funny. We purchased the house, was very rough because the winter. So we closed was December. Right after 1 week, someone approached to us. We don't know who, but I said, you know what? I'm not going to sell my house at this moment. Just 1 week after closing, and we just start the renovation. The construction just started. Everything was a bit teared down inside the house. They said, "Oh, we want to buy your land." I said, "Why? Why you don't buy before? Because the listing was on the market for so long. Just bad timing. What can I say?"
Okay,
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you.
Mankeet Chan? Online? Okay. Mr. Chan?
Good morning, councils. I don't have anything to add. My wife has said it all already.
Oh, all right. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Salar Haidar Damghani?
Good. Yes, this is Salah Hidari and Salah Hidar Damghani. It seems that my name is repeated. Good morning, everyone. Thank you very much for the opportunity to discuss about this option for this plan. Similar to the previous neighbor, I am very concerned. I am the owner of 387 adjacent to this plan, and I am very concerned about the approach that the city has taken about this park. The first one is congested traffic. This street is already very congested. Addition of the park will bring more traffic, more foot traffic, more cars to the area where there is no parking even facilitated or foreseen in this area. The other one is really the safety of the personnel, the people, the neighborhood, the kids. It's wherever there is a congested area, especially in the morning, it is going to increase the rate of the safety incidents. We have had so many of them. I can even remember that a few years ago, there was a suggestion to have one of the houses as a Montessori. And even the city agreed with us that this area is not suitable to have a higher traffic. It's really surprising that we are accepting, or there is a proposal for increasing the traffic in this area. And next item is really the as one of the speakers were asking about the builders. Right now, one of the properties is sold to the builder, but it seems that this is a more an incentive plan for the builders to come and buy these houses and make them park in order to get even taller, larger buildings. And the builders are already trying to change the nature of this zone, nature of this block, but and this plan will just give them a roadmap how to get their approvals and make a huge impact to the neighborhood, which people are really planning to live in this neighborhood for a long time. I have purchased this property about 10 years ago. My parents are living there. I am also living there, and we had a high hope to be able to keep this property for a very long time. But this is definitely impacting us, impacting the neighborhood. And I agree that addition of the green spaces is a good idea, but not probably this parket with this arrangement that is proposed is not necessarily meeting that expectation, but also causing more damages to the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your comments. Any questions for the deputant? Okay, thank you very much. Last speaker is Jesper Thoft from the Broadway Area Residents Association. Jesper Thoft. Jesper?
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, we can. Thanks for joining us. You have 5 minutes.
Yes, my name is Jesper Toft. I am representing BARA, the Broadway Area Residents Association that is in the area. I also live close to immediately across from the proposed development or park. Just want to say thank you for the opportunity to speak. Designating these homes as a park was proposed by the late J. Robinson, so the councillor for the area, and was in a reaction to extreme development in the area. So already agreed to on Glazebrook and Bayview is two high-rises of 30 stories approximately or more that are adjacent to these three lots. So to the south is the Glazebrook high-rise, and to the east, the Esso gas station is another high-rise proposed 1840. So given that there were these two high-rises coming up very close to a residential neighborhood, J. Robinson then suggested in order to transition better into the neighborhood that this would be dedicated to parkland or to a parkette. It's important to notice that anybody who lives there can continue to live there and own their home, and they're not going to be forced out of their home. They will be able to continue living there, obviously preventing the park from being constructed in that case. And nobody's going to be forced out of their home. I can only say that and I'm not speaking for myself here, I'm speaking for the neighborhood in general. As Jay Robinson worked with the neighborhood on this, there were general support for the idea that some green space would badly needed in the area, and I think everybody would agree with that. And I think many people thought that this might be a bit small or maybe not enough, but it is a way to create a little bit of green space for the large amounts of people that will be living in the high rises along Bayview Avenue. And there are, I think, at least 6 current proposals for that type of building. So a lot of people coming into the neighborhood. And that was the background for this proposal and for Jay's idea to dedicate this space for a park. So speaking on behalf of BARA, I can say that there are general support in the neighborhood for this park. While I do understand that some immediate neighbors and maybe even owners of these lots for various reasons may not agree. So just that background, and that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you, Jesper. Thank you very much for your comments. The late Jay Robinson was a great fan of parks, and this is reflective of it. Questions for staff? Councillor.
I have questions.
Oh, okay. Councillor Cheng.
Yeah, I just wanted to clarify the lands at 389, 391, and 393 that are being designated. If they are currently have someone residing in the house, will these lands be expropriated, taken away from them, or will they have the option to stay in their home for as long as they would like to?
Through you, Mr. Chair, there is no reason for the residents to sell their homes. 391, which is the property in the middle, is being dedicated to the city as part of the on-site parkland dedication requirement by a developer. That is the one that is being redesignated in the official plan. The other 2 properties at 389 and 393 just fall within a layer of the official plan that identifies them as a park acquisition area, so potentially park expansion area. It doesn't mean the residents have to sell them. There is no rights being removed in terms of zoning or official plan layer on these lands.
So residents who live there can rest assured that there will be no sudden change where they will have to move out unless they willingly sell their property either to the developer to be then included as a dedication or to the city later on to expand the park.
The choice is completely up to the residents. There's nothing mandating them to sell those lands.
Great, thank you. Oh, and I guess I have another question. The development that is 30 stories that is happening there, is this already approved?
There are 2 developments, one at 1840 Bayview and the other one at 2 to 20 Glazebrook, and both of those sites are, I think they're about approximately 31, 32-story buildings that have been approved. As part of the approvals, we were directed by City Council to look at these three properties and redesignate 391 as parks and open space.
Great, thank you very much.
Thank you, Councillor Cheng. Any other questions for staff? No? Speakers? Okay, Councillor Cheng.
Yeah, I think it's very hard on residents when they don't have a counselor. So just want to, speak to the residents who made deputations today and just to clarify the situation. So the developments in question are already approved. So what we're talking about today is not whether or not the high rises are going up. It's about the zoning. And so just want to reaffirm that you can stay in your house as long as you would like. And I know you've spent a considerable amount of money to make it a place where you can grow your family. So please rest assured that no one is going to take that away from you. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Cheng. Any other speakers other than me? Because I'm going to move the staff recommendations. No? Okay, on behalf of the local community, I'm going to move the staff recommendations. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Now jump over to item 25. I have two speakers on the item. Abby Lee.
Mr. Speaker, I am the next speaker on this, but we have decided to swap our positions. Will that be okay?
He wants to go first.
I would like to go
Oh,
first.
on Denrock Drive?
That's right. It's the same.
Okay, Barindra?
That's right.
Oh, yeah, feel free to take to the mic.
Before I begin, would you like to display this, the picture that is attached to the report? Oh, is it possible to do that on this? Oh, okay. All right, very good. Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? We're going to hold the item down. If you could just take your seats, we'll call you in a little while. The local counselor is not available. We're going to, excuse me, Barindra?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're going to hold the item down. That means we're not going to debate it now. If you could just take your seat. The local counselor is not available.
Okay.
And she should be back soon.
Okay.
All righty, so we'll call you soon.
I'll wait until she comes back.
Yeah, we'll call you soon. So, so 28 is technically the next item. It is in my ward. It's a request for a tree removal. We thought the property owner was going to depute today and is not on the list, and we do not see him. So I'm going to defer this item to the next community council meeting because I think the property owner deserves a chance to make their case. So all in favor of deferring to the next scheduled North York Community Council meeting? Opposed? That is carried. Item number 29 is 85 Helendale Avenue. I have one speaker, a Yasmin Yemni, online. Yeah. Yasmin? Sorry, Yazim? Councillor Cole, we cannot locate the one deputant on item 29, 85 Helendale Avenue. How would you like to proceed? Do you want to, I can open it up to questions for staff or speakers, if you've made a decision on this.
I just ask staff.
Or you could defer it, it's entirely up to you. It's always nice to hear from the homeowner.
I'll move deferral.
We're going to have a busy October.
Nah.
Okay, so it's always nice to hear from the homeowner in these cases. So we have not got this person online. So we're going to defer item 29, 85 Helendale Avenue, application to remove a private tree to the next scheduled North York Community Council meeting. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Item 30, 19 Ian Hall. You're too picky. Councillor Burnside, if you could turn your camera on. Yeah, so I have. Councillor Burnside, could you please turn your camera on? So we lost a member, but the quorum number stays the same. All right, Councillor Burnside, the item 2985 Hellendale Avenue application to remove a private tree has been deferred to the October North York Community Council meeting. And all those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Now we're on item 30, and we have a speaker. Item 30, Lena Carinci. Oh, yes, thank you for joining us. You have 5 minutes.
Good morning, committee. Thank you for listening to my concern today. I'm here to discuss an aluminum, a garage door that was transferred into a fence. Because I have been living at this property since 1963. It was my parents' property, but they both passed, and the property is mine now. So I was 11 when I moved there. And we never had any problems with any neighbors, ever. So the neighbor behind us, he was a great guy. He lived there all those years from the late 50s. Then he passed away and his daughter sold the house. So we were very cordial with the new neighbors, but they bulldozed the whole lot. The house was still there, but all the landscaping was bulldozed, and it took them about 2 years before they actually built back their driveway and their patio and put sod down. So all this time, there were tall grasses and thorny weeds growing on the lot, which they wouldn't cut. So the guy's mother, I used to see her in the yard sometimes, so I'd have discussions with her. And then once I said, could you please just ask your son to cut the lawn? I guess she must have told him, and he got a little bit mad. So he started saying nasty things when he saw me outside, and I would just walk away and not talk to him because I didn't want to get into a fight with a crazy guy. But anyway, so the mother said, well, my son has 3 houses.
Let's try and keep it to the fence itself.
All right, sorry, okay?
Yeah, I mean,
sorry.
really.
My son has 3 houses, she says. He's busy. And I said, well, all the more reason why he can hire someone to cut the lawn. Anyway, finally I had to call the city twice, 2 different times. They had to put a notice on his door to cut the lawn. So the guy became a little bit belligerent, and I didn't feel safe. And a family friend said, look, why don't you use these, the panels from the garage door, which I was replacing, and use it as a barrier. And that way you don't have to talk to him, he doesn't have to talk to you, and you can feel safe coming out into your yard. And it wasn't only him being belligerent, but he had all these cars and he had a truck, a boat, sea-doos and ski-doos parked on the lawn in the backyard. The yard is a pie-shaped lot. So at the front it's narrow, at the back it's very wide. So he had a lot of room to park whatever he wanted, but it's not allowable. And it looks pretty unsightly, right? When you come out of your house and you look at that every day, it's like, well, I don't know, why should this be here? This doesn't look very nice. And when you've been there since 1963, you never had trouble with anybody, and then you have to put up with that. It's very unsightly. So then they got all these dogs. That was another issue. And then they got rid of all the dogs, and they got one left. And as spring came this season, I was doing my gardening, and the dog would follow me from this corner to that corner, this corner to that corner, and bark at me. So I said to one of the guys that was living in the house, I said, but can that dog jump the fence? And because it looked like he just wanted to take my neck off. He's a pit bull, and I started to talk to the dog nice, like he was a human being. Like I was saying, be nice, don't bark, please, because I'm scared. But dogs, they don't care what you say. They just want to do their thing. And it just became like, even when you went out to the yard, like the stench of urine, like honestly, I'm not exaggerating. Like it was just so bad. You would go out and do your business in the garden and get done what you had to do and just leave because you can't stand the smell that was coming from there. So basically that's why the barrier went up, just to save my sanity. And, you know, my brother lives in Arizona. He came up in the summer and I said, Fred, I have to talk to the city council about this fence. And he said, well, it's better to have that fence up than look at what you got there. So, I didn't want the barrier to go up. I was going to put up some nice, tall, I don't know what you call them, spruce trees or something, or put up a fence. But this family friend said that was putting up my garage door, why don't you just use these panels and that way you don't have to deal with them. And I thought, well, that sounds like a good idea to me. Cost me less money, and I don't have to argue with them, and the trees are going to take 10 years to grow. And the wood fence is going to cost me a lot more money. So I just went with it. I wasn't trying to circumvent any bylaw. And now when I, at least come into my patio, I can sit there peacefully.
Chair, we're 6 minutes.
Yeah, so I started the clock late, so your deputation is over.
I'm done. That's it. Thank you.
Yeah, so this metal barrier, that was put up by you, or that's been there for decades? I didn't quite get that part.
It's an aluminum,
You put it
aluminum
up.
door panels.
So,
I have a chain link fence. It's been there since 1963.
all right,
that
so
my
you put
dad
up
put
these aluminum panels.
They're door panels from a garage door. They're about 3-4 inches thick.
Yeah, is there any reason, I guess you did give the reasons why you won't build a regular
Well, it was like a
fence.
spur of the moment thing. The garage door was coming down, and the family friend said, "Look, why don't you solve the problem this way?" So I said, I really want to put trees up there or something. I don't like these big wood fences. And he goes, "Well, this is a quick fix right now. Now, like to tear it down, it's like, please, God, do I really have to do that?" It's just, it's so private now, if you know what I'm saying. I don't have to worry about them. They can get rowdy. There's a whole bunch of people living there. One of the holidays, one of the long weekend holidays, there were fireworks going on, and I thought it was raining outside. When I went outside, there were fireworks landing on my gazebo and on my asphalt shingles.
We get the message that you don't get along with your neighbors. The
Well,
question
it's not that I don't want to get along with them. I was perfectly happy with, saying good morning to them and
everything
everything.
was good
but
until they
things turned
died.
bad.
But the new neighbors you're not getting along with. You made that perfectly clear. Is there any way in the future you would build a legal fence, maybe a wood fence?
Well, this is what I'm here.
I mean, if this is so bad, why? I don't understand why you wouldn't do that.
What is so bad?
No, you've just spent your entire deputation talking about how bad the situation is your neighbor. So if it's that bad, I don't understand why you wouldn't build a legal wooden fence.
But I explained that it was like a spur of the moment thing because the garage.
No.
was
Okay, so
down.
you've had time to digest it and to.
Oh well, the inspector told me I can make an application to keep the fence, so that's why I'm here. There's nothing wrong with the fence. It's not environmentally bad. It's got foam insulation inside that doesn't break down in the environment. It looks pretty on their side. I don't care about my side. I'm just protected, and I can go to my yard and do what I want. And wood fence is going to cost me money. And I'm
will cost you. Yeah.
I'm a senior, and I have to pay for that myself, and I live in the house by myself.
Yeah, normally neighbors can share a fence cost, but I have a feeling with this neighbor,
I'm not going to ask for him to pay for the fence.
You're not going to get very far.
No.
Okay, all right.
I don't want him, even if I pay for the fence, sir, I don't want him touching my fence. Because I read about that too. That if I pay for the fence, he can't hang anything on the fence.
All right, we'll leave it at that. Okay.
Right now, he
thank
gets
you very much.
into the yard and throws the ball against the fence and plays with it. So he must be happy with it.
Councillor Cole, questions for the deputant?
Yeah, just wondering, what if we give you some time to save some money to build a proper wooden fence? You can see the problem is that you've done this for yourself, and I can understand. I don't know what I would have done, but you put those panels up. But if everybody did this across the different parts of the city, it'd be a pretty ugly city with all these panels everywhere. you can imagine what people do. So what if we give you about a year to see if you can get together some money to put up your own 6-foot-high wooden fence that the city wouldn't have any
you can't.
objection to?
The other thing is you should be back at the microphone. No, I was finished. There's other counselors here who
Yeah, anyways, listen, we really feel for your pain considering what you've gone through here with everything. So we're just trying to be helpful. So what if we give you some time to erect a proper wooden fence there that'll give you privacy and give you that barrier you need? Because we're just, again, saying this is the type of thing we don't want to see happen. You know, I can see why you're justified, but you can imagine if this is done all over the city, and that's what we have to have rules for.
Okay, so just close to my house, there's 2 corners. Just going down towards Keel and Wilson, the major intersection. There's 2 houses that have an aluminum fence, solid panel aluminum fence. It's been there for more than 60 years. 2 different houses. Has anybody complained about those?
Probably.
And these are on the sidewalk, street side. That
Okay,
everybody can
wait
see.
a minute. We can, remember, there's 3 million people in this city, okay? So a million house. So we are dealing with items like this on a regular basis, okay? So what we're trying to do is be helpful to you and saying, what if we give you a year?
Yeah, but now I feel like I'm discriminated against.
Well, okay.
Because someone chose to complain about
sorry.
my fence.
I see where you're
not
going.
By you,
No problem.
not by you, sir, not by you. Just the fact that someone complained about my fence, but no one ever complained about those fences. They've been there for 60 years, and they're right on a sidewalk, on a street. Mine is in between
All right.
yards.
Okay. I think we've had any other questions for the deputant? I'm going to.
I have a question, Mr. Chair.
Question of staff.
Questions of staff?
No, I have a question of the deputant.
Oh, okay. Councillor Burnside?
I just have one simple question. When did you first put up this fence?
Last year in the spring, around May.
So this has gone on for about 18 months?
Yeah. Well,
Thank you.
Good morning, Council. Christina Savella, Supervisor, West District, Investigation Services.
Sorry, it was Councillor Carroll who had questions for staff?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chair. Hi, Christina. Tell me, if we refuse this fence, if we follow the staff recommendations, how much time does the applicant have to bring the fence into compliance, use the proper materials?
Through you, Chair, well, generally we would issue a second notice of violation, which would give them a minimum of 21 days, but we are willing to work with the applicant if more time is needed.
So if we refused it today, we could just direct you to negotiate a timeline with the resident?
Sure.
Rather than sort of by default create a new bylaw? We can leave that in the hands of staff?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And and one other question, Mr. Chair, do we have a record? Do we keep a record of this? Was there any guidance sought? I need to build a fence because I have this problem. Do we keep a record of whether or not they went to any effort to try and find out from us what would be a legal fence? That hasn't happened yet.
Is that through, are you asking myself or?
Yeah,
Chair?
yeah.
Oh,
yeah,
no,
that
hasn't happened yet, no.
Okay, thank you. Those are my questions. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Carroll. Any other questions for staff?
We just looked at Google Map, and we see there's about 6 vehicles parked on the other side of this fence to where the owner resides. Have there been any bylaw complaints about that neighbor with the pit bull and the 6 vehicles in the backyard?
Yes, through you, Chair. Yes, there is an open and active investigation.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for staff? Okay, thank you very much. Speakers? Councillor Carroll and Councillor Burnside?
Thanks, Mr. Chair. You know, I really understand having difficult neighbors, but, you know, I'm inclined to move staff recommendations knowing that they will work with the resident to negotiate a timeline. The problem that's happening in the neighbor's home is something that's very time consuming for our staff. It takes them a long time to deal with a problem property like that. So be generous with the timing, as Councillor Cole has suggested. But the fact remains, we really do have to have bylaws around fences. You know, we have them for reasons. You don't want to look back over a neighborhood over time and find it looks like a small village in South America. You know, so that's why you create bylaws. And where we have the ability, municipalities don't all, but where we have the ability, we do speak to materials in our bylaws. And this is one of those cases. And that's to create the consistency and the property standard that people really want to see when they're paying their property taxes. They want to see a certain standard for their community, and they're vocal about it. And so, yes, we have to address property on the other side, but unfortunately, I think we have to address this one as well. And so I support on how long it takes to get this property into compliance. Those are my comments. Thanks, Mr. Chair. I guess what I'm saying is I'm moving the staff recommendation.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Carroll. Councillor Burnside.
Yeah, thank you. Well, Councillor Carroll articulated pretty much every thought that I had and then some. So I'm going to be supporting, voting with Councillor Carroll on this one. I don't really see any compelling reason to make exception. We have property standards for a reason, and that is, you know, to ensure that the impact of a single individual's property isn't so negative on the rest of the community. Nothing I've heard today, notwithstanding, feeling badly about neighbor issues, nothing I've heard would change my opinion that we uphold the property standards and have our staff work with the individual in question to bring them in compliance. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Burnside. Any other speakers other than myself? So, on one hand, we just can't let this aluminum fencing stand because people will use it as a precedent across the city. On the other hand, I really am empathetic to this property owner because she sounds like she's living beside very difficult neighbors, and I'm being quite generous there, and they also are under investigation. I realize building a fence is not cheap, but if things are as bad as the deputy says, then investing in this for peace of mind to make this legal is crucial. I don't want to leave it up to the property owner and municipal licensing to negotiate in the coming months to get this resolved. I'd like to visit the site. So I'm going to move this off to April of 2025, and that gives the property owner sufficient time to come up with a solution that's legal. And when you're coming back here in April, you'll get another notice. There has to be a plan to remove this fence and build a proper wooden fence. And there's all kinds of different formulas for financing a fence and getting it up. And I do empathize that you're living beside very difficult neighbors without passing too much judgment. And that's the motion I'm going to move. We bring this back in April. You have to have a plan or we're going to refuse the application. So it's a deferral to April. I'm going to visit the site. I urge you to stay in touch with municipal licensing, and these things have to come down and you put up a proper fence, or we're going to have this stuff all over the city. Anyone want to speak to the deferral or question of the mover? Okay, we're good. So I'm moving deferral to April, and there has to be a plan in place or this is going to be refused. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Item number 31. 120.
Mr. Chair, I'm wondering if the deputants are present for item 25, now that I'm back in the chamber.
Yes, thank you, Councillor Carroll. We did hold that item down in your absence. So we can now call upon Berinda Singh to speak. And I don't know whether Abby Lee is also available to speak next. Okay, so Berinda, thank you for waiting. You have 5 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay.
You have 5 minutes.
Thank you. So good morning, Mr. Chair and members of the council, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for giving me an opportunity to speak. My name is Birinder Singh, and I have with me my wife, Madhu Singh. You can take a look at this. It's difficult to see if you're sitting in those rows here, but you can see that it's north and south, and it's a Denrock Drive. It's parking issues on Denrock Drive and the south end of the Denrock Drive. I've been living there for the past close to 25 years, and most of the neighbors as well have been there for many, many years. So what it is there right now, just want to position your mind on this. The street that you're looking at is the short end of the Denrock Drive, and that is about 160 to 170 feet, okay? And the south end of the Denrock Drive. So what we have is that we have 4 houses there that have frontage on Denrock Drive, and the 2 other houses there at the Arrowstook end side, their frontage is on the Arrowstook side. So the houses are mostly impacted by whatever happens on Denrock Drive with respect to parking affects these 4 houses the most. So just to start with, and just to make sure everybody thinks on this, everybody's on the same page, just southeast of us is over 50 townhomes, and more than about 15, 20 years ago, they weren't there. That's where Sheridan Nurseries used to be. And that area, the south end was dead end, was totally closed. So when these townhomes went in there were discussions on that, and the agreement was reached that we'll just open a passageway for humans to pass through that. So that's the way it is there now. And the southwest of it, just southwest of it, is the Bessarian subway. Now you can see the issues there. So what happened before was that people used to park their vehicles on that stretch of Denrock Drive all the time on both sides, east and west, and take the subway and later on and meet their friends there in that townhomes and so on. So it became so bad that it was really miserable for the people living in those 4 houses. So we complained to the city many, many times. We couldn't pull out. And to think of that emergencies and think of that service vehicles when they come in to mow your lawn, where do they park if both sides are parked? And that narrow street there, that's 160 feet long and dead end. So basically, it became such a bad problem that something had to be done. So what city did afterwards, that they installed no parking signs there. So with the no parking signs, there was some relief there. But if you can visualize, even today, if a truck comes in, and a delivery trucks, and leaves it right at and what they try to do is that they come in right to the end of it, because they have to go to these townhomes. They come right to the end, leave the truck running, and they run over for 10 minutes or 5 minutes or whatever you have, and they go over to deliver the package or something. And if somebody is trying to come out of, for example, house number 24, it happened many, many times. They couldn't come out. They couldn't come out on the street. Even if they have to go to the hospital, doctor's appointment and something, they just couldn't come out. And this situation exists for all these 4 houses right there on Denrock Drive. So after no parking sign, even then there are issues with respect to trucks pulling in. And once it so happened that garbage truck couldn't come in, even just last week, city was doing some 2 weeks ago, city was doing some work on the Aroostook end of this Denrock Drive. The garbage collection couldn't happen because the truck couldn't come in. And for the trucks to come in, they have to go in, then they back out all the time because they can't turn around. So I think that basically exemplifies that there are many, many issues with respect to that. Now, the proposed solution, if you think of the proposed solution, it's something like when I was reading this little report, I felt like if you have a problem, if you have a disease, you go to the doctor, and doctor gives you some medication. And when you take the medication, you come back a lot sicker than you were there before. And that's the scenario we have, that if you were to make the whole thing, like in this area there, that the red, no standing, and the area 17 meters identified as 1 hour parking, who's going to monitor that? Who's parking there? And guaranteed, we've lived there for 25 years, that no park, that 1 hour parking area will be full of cars.
Your time is completed.
Okay, so all I'm saying is
so
that,
if you could just wrap up.
Where is the timer?
Pardon?
Okay, that's fine. So
No, your
Mr. Chair,
time
I
is up.
agree
You're
with
over
you.
5 minutes.
Okay, so just visualize the situation. What could happen if those 1 hour park spots are taken up?
Okay. All right. Well, thank you
then
very
who's
much.
gonna-
Maybe if there's questions from councilors.
Yes.
Are there any questions for the deputant? No? Okay.
Yeah, I'll be happy to answer any question, even afterwards, if somebody
Yeah.
can send me an email. Like
Okay. Well, maybe you can stay in touch with your local councilor, but there's no questions. But thank you very much.
I have a complaint for
I'm
this.
sorry. Are you? I'm sorry.
I have a complaint for this. We were not given any notification until last, we found out from the neighbor. And when we spoke to Robin yesterday, she gave us a wrong email address to give our presentation over here. So we
right.
did that by trial and
Mr. Chair,
error.
report came
All
at
right,
4:30
well-
on Friday afternoon about this.
Well, you're here,
let
so
me-
obviously you found out about it. How you found out? I mean, we can
No,
debate
no.
that.
The report came in at 4:30 in the afternoon on Friday, so that you know, right? Okay.
Well, okay. All right, I'm looking for Abby Lee. Okay, you have 5 minutes? Oh, you want that on the screen? I don't know.
Can we stop the timer because she's not talking? I did, but I didn't get the confirmation. But I am.
Okay, thank you, and good morning, everyone. Thanks for giving me opportunity to speak up. And I'm Abby. I'm living on the 24th and Rock, and living on that street. And this street, as my neighbor said, this street is very short and dead-end street. I would like to modify the proposal, because 17-meter parking allowance will make the parking problem worse. So sharing this, the current situation, even though we have no parking sign on the whole street, but townhouse residents blocked our street daily. So why we are experiencing the problem daily? Because the townhouse blocked their loading area. They have actually beautiful loading area in their townhouse, but never open to residents. So all the deliveries, movings, and visitors, Amazon, UPS, drop-off, pickup, coming into the next street dead end. And we can circle back to the initial case study in 2012 and 2013. So we Denmark neighbors already raised those concerns already, but however, the transportation services said it shouldn't impact to the Denmark street because of the townhouse have enough loading and parking area, but the townhouse locked their front gate, and extend their facilities into our dead-end street. So this case, we believe this case study has been failed. So we asked to make the Denmark South Street to no standing and open their, so we also ask the townhouse open their front gate for 24 hours without locker to their resident. You would like to? Yeah.
Any questions of the deputant?
So I think I have a more minute left, so I want to.
So we're gonna call the next speaker now, Mark Lee. Is that you? Okay, great, Mark Lee. Just
Thank
gonna
you.
set the timer.
Yep.
Thank you. Oh, there's one more.
Right. First of all, thank you so much for the opportunity to speak in the meeting. I appreciate it. So as you can see in the photos, basically the townhouse residents are always using our street as their parking lot. To be honest with you guys, we don't really need any parking lot because we have our own driveways. And I think I want to ask a question to Shelley Carroll, because for whom is the parking allowance intended? Because I believe that's intended for townhouse people. That's obviously not necessary for Denmark people. And also, to give you some background information, this has been ongoing for 8 or so years since the townhouse was built. Since the townhouse was built, the front gate was locked with the crossing gate. That basically blocked the townhouse people from using their parking lot. They have their own designated areas for parking and a loading and loading zone. They have, I believe they have 3 loading zones, but they're using our street reluctantly because they have the front gate blocked and locked. And I believe that unlocking that front gate will solve this situation way better instead of allowing the 70-meter parking. Also, can you touch the screen to, yeah, these are the photos. We have a lot of photos, that's just a portion. Can you skip, can you click the next button to grasp the whole picture? Can you keep going? Okay. Can you show everything, Abby? Yeah. So all these cars are just like, even that car is just driving through the pathway, which is intended for pedestrians only. And I believe that before the townhouse was built, there was a public hearing, and there was an agreement made that this townhouse back gate will be open under the condition that this gate will be used only for the people, for humans. But there are motorcycles, cars, trucks passing through this pathway. So I believe that closing this gate, closing this gate will solve the situation much better. We are for closure. We are for the closure of the gate, and I believe that people from townhouse also agree with the closure of the gate because they installed a sign in front of their back gate. Abby, do you have the sign? Basically, the sign says that they will prosecute anyone trespassing the property, and I believe that's simply the opposite of the agreement that was made in the initial public hearing. So I believe that both sides, Denmark people and townhouse people, are on the same page with the idea that the closure of this back gate will solve the matter better. And I believe that opening the front gate will solve everything. I also talked to the residents of townhouse, and they told me that in order for they to use their designated areas, they had to call the townhouse manager in order to get the access. But they even told me that the townhouse manager doesn't respond to them, so they cannot use their designated areas to move in or unload or load or even park. So I believe that opening that front gate will solve this ongoing issues, and closing the gate will also solve the situation better, because I believe that both sides are on the same page. And also, we don't think that 70-meter parking allowance will solve any matter. I believe that it will worsen the situation. I believe that we're good with the no parking sign at all sides without any parking allowance. Or initially we suggested that change no parking sign to no standing sign, but we got the response from Shelley office that they would change no parking sign to no standing with the 70-meter parking allowance. We didn't ask for any parking allowance. We just asked for no standing sign change. So I don't know where that 70-meter parking allowance came from. I believe that in the email from Shelley's office, they said they worked with both sides on this decision, and I believe that both sides refer to townhouse people and Denrock people. And I believe that solving the townhouse people's inconvenience.
Your time is up.
Okay.
So any other further comments, you'll have to take up with the local counselor, who I'm sure will take your comments under advisement. Any questions for the deputant? No? Okay, thank you very much for your comments. Any questions for staff? Okay, very quickly, Councillor Cheng.
So the residents are asking if the fence can be sealed, and I'm just wondering, is that even a possibility? No. I'm seeing Councillor Carroll say no. Okay.
Well, it's directed to city staff, but are they both shaking their heads?
I don't see any city staff. Oh.
Can we ask why that's not possible?
No. But listen carefully to the answer.
We're in committee now.
Through the chair, the agreement for the development was to have it open to the public for pedestrians to walk through. So that would, you'd have to change that agreement, I suppose.
Yeah, but why can't they put up a couple of bollards extra so that cars can't get through?
There is a bollard installed
Oh, no,
there.
Obviously, the one isn't working. What about multiple bollards?
Through the chair, my understanding is that the one, like those pictures were taken before the bollard was installed. So now you can't, like that's the.
But there's only one bollard,
so let's.
All right, it's not a tea party.
Okay.
Let's stick to our regular procedures. So, Councillor Cheng, have you finished your questions for staff? Okay. Councillor Cole, did you have questions for staff?
I'm okay.
You're satisfied with what was just said? Or maybe unsatisfied, but you'll let it go. And there's Councillor Carroll with questions for staff.
No, I'm waiting to speak.
Okay. Councillor Carroll, would you please close this off?
Thank you. So, councillors, on a number of different fronts, this is a cautionary tale. I wish I could go back in time. When the townhouse development was built, I was not the local councillor, but I was sitting in the council chamber, and I did vote for that townhouse development. If you want a mental picture, some of you, if you've driven Shepherd, you may be familiar with Mountain Equipment. Mountain Equipment Co-op, the original application that was, and some residents on top, some height, in a resistance to height. What was agreed to in the community was that the store would take up most of the frontage, and we'd just put townhouses in the back. And that functioned fairly well until the onset of multiple daily online shopping. And then you really need to have a way to get to and deliver to any kind of multi-residential situation. And the way this site is organized, it really isn't set up for success. But what has happened is that through months and months of work, the deputies are right. We've been working for months with the condominium board. It took us a while. We had to get to know each other, had to trust each other, had to bring in transportation staff, had to look at the original development agreement. You'll if you look at it on air, you'll see quite a lovely pedestrian thoroughfare there, so that people can easily get to Passarian Station, because there's a subway access just on the other side of the Mountain Equipment Co-op lot. And our city policy is to make as many pedestrian permeable routes to a subway entrance as possible. And so that's good. Yeah, we can't load that area up with vehicles. And so there was a bollard installed at one point. At one point, there was actually, without any permission from the city, a stone showed up. The neighborhood's trying to take matters into their own hands. We've arrived at a design solution, but that no trespassing sign, the condo board agreed they will remove after we put these parking requirements in place. They want our help to help them make sure that their members understand that they have improved the loading at the front end of their development. They want deliveries to access from Shepherd, and they've improved their ability to get there. And they're going to communicate to residents that wherever possible, you're going to direct people to come that way to get to you. And we want discipline. As to the minimal parking there, the 17 meters, that's really just a matter of keeping with North York planning design. You have 6 homes there, and the streets that they turn onto, Arrowstook, we like to keep clear. You don't want a lot of parking there. So in any suburban street, there's an expectation that you have a couple of places where you could have daytime street parking. You know, you could have everyone coming over for a baby christening, a funeral, a wedding, a God knows what. It's Christmas Day. You want to have a little bit of overflow parking on the street, even though each of these 6 homes has a driveway. So all of these things were, loaded into the hopper, and the solution you see before us is to mitigate the challenge here. No standing means, if you really want to have your truck sitting around while you go and make a hand delivery and get a signature, there's a loading dock for you at the front of this development. The condo have made improvements to do so. We need you to free up Den Rock now and stop blocking people's driveways. We need to know that seniors on that street, an ambulance could get to them if it needed to. What we arrived at after months of negotiation with all of the members, I basically assigned one of my staff was just special issue solved Den Rock for months. And this is where we arrived. And so rather than upset the delicate balance of all that, I would appreciate it if we adopt the recommendations in the motion today and not add anything to it that might then cause a problem in the solution traffic staff have arrived at.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Carroll.
Those are my comments. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Are there any other speakers on the item? Just an FYI, we are adjourning at, we're taking a recess, scheduled for a recess at noon, but we only have 2 items left, so we can actually finish if we move things along in the next 20 minutes. So I think we're prepared to put this to a vote.
Actually, I'm going to speak.
Okay, so Councillor Cheng wants to speak.
So I'm actually not going to support this change because I feel the residents really have been victims of poor planning. We are adding density across our city with insufficient parking, and then the local residents have to then take the pain of that. And we all know how hard it is to get enforcement. So as soon as you open up a legal window, then it will be on the residents to constantly call 311 to ask for enforcement. And I feel that the townhouse really needs to take ownership of how their residents are served with their existing infrastructure. And they should not be relying on this street. I have a lot of streets in my ward that are near subway stations where there really is no legal place to park, and there's a reason for that. So I'm going to be voting against this recommendation. Thank you.
Well, although I'm reluctant to support it, an enormous amount of time and energy has gone into it, and sometimes the compromise that's worked out at the end isn't ideal. But at some point, you have to reach a point where you have to do what's best, and I think what we have here is the local councillors. And I'll be supporting it. Okay, so let's vote on the item. All those in favor of the recommendations? Councillor Cheng has asked for a recorded vote. All those in favor? Councillor Burnside, Councillor Carroll, Councillor Cole, Councillor Pasternak. Those against? Councillor Cheng. Next item is that carries. Item is item 31. Unless there's debate. So I was gonna move allowing the exemption. The amount this is over bylaw seems to be very small, and I was going to approve the application, but there's no direction from the local councillor's office. So, and I don't have any deputations on the item. So, any questions for staff? Speakers, I guess I just spoke. I'm going to move approval of the application. I think it's just a very small difference. So all those in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Last item is item 32. I don't have a speaker on 32. Okay, I don't have the name, but Dominic Rotunda.
Good morning, council and staff. I'm Dominic Rotundo. I'm the counsel and friend of the owner who I have beside me, Mr. Al-Garabli. Wanted to, just to begin, I'm not sure if you've received, we do also have letters of consent and support from the adjacent owners and neighbors. If I could provide you with a hard copy.
Sorry for interruption. Can we reset the time, please?
Was that for me? I have a hard copy of the consent form that I'd like to present.
Hey, get in.
Maybe you could just put it on. I just want to point out that
I did the capital P.
Yeah, that's.
Can I just?
Okay, Councillor Carroll, if you could just mute your mic. Thank you. Sorry, go ahead.
Okay. So the owner has approached the two adjacent owners and the neighbors across the street beside. They've seen the fence and had no objection to the materials and the construction. It's built with vertical boards. It's done in a good and workmanlike manner, and it looks good. I don't think the issue is the construction or materials. This is an issue with the height exceedance on this one. It's only on the north and the south perimeters. I think the bylaw permits 2 meters, and this is at 2.1 meters and 2.07 meters. So it's a small exceedance. The owner has actually presented an explanation for the fence. I'm not sure that you need us to repeat that. Essentially, the fence is for their privacy and noise attenuation. They have a dog, they have family gatherings. The one neighbor on the south had been complaining about the dog, and so this prompted my client to construct the fence. As it turned out, it was built slightly over the permitted height. We've actually read the report from licensing and standards, district manager, sorry, and he did provide for an alternate recommendation, which my client supports. They certainly have no issue with maintaining, and if it does come down, which they hope not for many, many years, they will have it comply if they have to rebuild it. But what they really would not want to have to go through that cost and hardship to do it now. And so we implore your approval of the exemption if you find it amenable.
Okay, thank you very much for your comments. Any questions for the deputant? Okay. Any questions for staff? So I've taken a look at this file and obviously listened to the comments made, which is, supported by a petition. I'm going to move the approval of the exemption. This is a professionally built fence, which is just slightly above bylaw, and I think it's the amount above bylaw is so small that I don't think we need to pursue this matter any further. So I'm moving a motion to grant the exemption. It is on the screen, and I can put it to a vote. All those in favor? Opposed? That is carried.
Thank you.
You have your exemption. That concludes the business for today. We're going to do our bills. And there we go. Councillor Cheng, would you like to read our bills?
With pleasure. That bills 886 to 892 and 918 to 922 prepared for the September 24th, 2024 meeting, 17 of the North York Community Council, be declared as bylaws and passed subject to section 226.9 of the City of Toronto Act 2006.
All those in favor? Confirming bills? Thank you, Councillor Cole, for that passionate moving of the motion. All those in favor? Opposed? That's carried. That concludes our business for today. My campaign motto of running for chair was done by noon. I have met that campaign promise. So I thank all the city staff, all the members of the public, the gallery. I think we need some crowd control at this point. And of course, our clerk staff and councillors. So thank you very much and enjoy the rest of the day.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Matthew.
Same guy I was having.